Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time. And as always, thank you to Lurks, our feral venator of Thrain. And today we have another patron to thank. Thank you, Anya, for supporting us. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anya. So as many of our listeners know, we have started to branch out from explicitly Wheel of Time stuff, but we've yet to really branch out from explicitly queer stuff. And we're still not really doing that, but we're sort of doing that today because the topic is giving love, not to necessarily queer characters, but to side characters who could get a little bit more love in the Wheel of Time series. So we brought our notes on our favorite side characters who might not get as much love as Rand or Nynaeve or Moraine.
I mean, maybe some of our side characters already get a lot of love and we don't care. We just wanted to talk about our favorite side characters.
This is true.
Sometimes you just take the opportunity and you're like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
I know many people have already walked the walk and rant the rant. And still today.
I mean, I don't, honestly, I don't remember Camille's side characters that they put in the notes because it's one of the S Sedai's.
Oh yeah, but like my side character is very much a minor character.
It's very, like, yes. Like, if there was ever...
There's nothing in her wiki pages, okay? Everything, all of the reason why I like her are things that I've been made up in not just my mind, but in other people's mind, and then infected other people's, I would say.
Yes.
I can start with mine if you want, then.
Since we're talking about it already, so go for it.
All the S Sedai's.
Yes, it's an Aes Sedai, so there's already like so many Aes Sedai. It's even worse, it's an Aes Sedai starting with a letter S. It's Sionid. Okay, Sionid, I bet that most readers of the Wheel of Time do not remember her.
Oops.
And that's okay, because I read her wiki pages, and she literally does not do anything just by herself. She doesn't have anything specific about her. It's just that she's gay.
You know what? That's enough sometimes. Sometimes that's enough.
That's enough. It's so in the plots of the Wheel of Time, she's among the Aes Sedai from the Salidar camp that she's part of the embassy that is sent to Rand, and that she's among the Aes Sedai that ends up helping during the Dumas Vale's battle and then have to kneel in front of Rand.
Yeah.
And as a result, she becomes an apprentice to the Wise Ones, and then end up following Perrin during all of his adventure post Dumas Vale, meaning tracking Massima, then tracking Fail, then the White Cloaks, and I don't think she's even mentioned during the last battle.
I don't think so either.
So I'm assuming she's still alive.
Yeah.
But in The Companion, she's one of the few officially queer characters of the Wheel of Time. She is a green sister. I think her companion notes say she's a lesbian, but she does not hate men.
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
Which, okay.
Wait, a lesbian that doesn't hate men? What's this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's representation.
Exactly. There you go.
Are there any lesbians who need that representation, though? Because they all hate men, right?
Yeah. I mean, I certainly do.
That's why they become lesbians.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's the only reason why.
Anyway, she has 2 warders and she's pretty stern with them. She's a Carrianin. She's basically Moraine, but gay, because she's like tiny like Moraine, Carrianin like Moraine. But at least she's not gay until graduation.
This is true.
Like Moraine.
This is true.
And apparently, so something that does not appear in the books, but is clearly present in one of Robert Jordan's Aes Sedai notes, one of his personal notes, is that Theonid used to have a relationship with Aliandre, who is the queen of... Shit, I didn't look that up, but like she's a queen that keeps following Perrin at some point.
Yeah, she's queen of...
Geldin? Something like that, maybe?
Maybe Geldine.
I feel like it's Geldin.
I think that's right, too.
Yeah. And it's hilarious because Theonid and Aliandre spent books in proximity of each other, and it's never mentioned about their relationship, but Jordan was like, yes, they totally had a relationship in the past. That's why Aliandre trusts Theonid a little bit.
She is the queen of Geldine.
Yeah. But no, why do I actually like that character? So there's someone in this fandom whose name is Roman, and they have been obsessed with Theonid for years. I think their first fanfic about Theonid was maybe in, I don't know, 2020, something like that.
Yeah.
And they're great artists. They have drawn many,
oh my God,
many fan arts of Theonid with tiny Theonid with two big burly warders, and they have a bunch of fanfic with a relationship between Theonid and one of the wise ones that hang around during this apprenticeship. They have actually, if there's one fanfic to read, it's a fanfic about Theonid's point of view of Dumais Vale's battle, because it turns this very messy battle in something very strategic and very well done. And the only reason why the Perrin and Rand and everything made it out is just because Theonid was like, yeah, your plan is bullshit. Please let me do something.
Love it.
Yeah. And I'm not Theonid biggest stan. Roman is Theonid biggest stan. And I had many opportunities in the past to talk with Roman about Theonid and to talk with other friends about Theonid, and we have whole headcanons about that character. And it's, you know what? In some series, it is nice to have side characters that you kind of don't know enough about them, because you can have your whole ideas of who they are, and nobody can tell you you're wrong.
Exactly. And it takes the pressure off too, because you don't have to worry about what if they make a character choice that you're not into? You don't have to worry about that, because this is, it's all in your head.
You can write the past relationship between Theonid and Alliant. Who's going to tell you that you're wrong? Jordan is dead.
Wow.
That was maybe a bit violent.
Okay, Camille Goodkind.
Please, let's not use that as a title.
I think that's a title right there.
No, we can't do that. Otherwise, we're never gonna be able to talk to Maria ever.
We'll never get Maria. We'll never get Harry.
We could.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I doubt. I mean, technically, this episode comes out after Jordan Kern, I think. So we could.
Hey, we could be golden.
This is true.
We could have a very good connection with Maria before.
We could be golden is all I'm saying.
Imagine us having a very deep conversation with Maria on the weekend, and then on the Monday she looks it up and the first episode is
Thank you, Camille Goodkind.
Yeah, so let's not use the title. But that's one of my favorite side character, and nobody cares about them. And there's been I don't even think she's part of the Greenwell Cup, because maybe she was this year, because I think I've ranted about
she may have been.
People have ranted about Theonid enough that Ali knows who Theonid is.
Yes, she may have been.
But she lost very quickly.
Yes.
When we did the Surain Cup back in June about the queerest character of the Wheel of Time books, I had to tweet again about Theonid, and still 90% of the folks didn't know about her. She didn't make it past one round.
Oh no.
I mean, she's an Aes Sedai, so
this is the truth. This is the truth.
But she's the Aes Sedai who's gay.
That's the thing.
The thing is that there's not a lot of queer characters in those books, and she's genuinely one of the few positive representation of queerness, because
Listen,
she's a good person.
We have the Soirean Cup is coming up.
And look at the bright side. Because no one knows who she is always going to be in the Soirean Cup, and we will always be able to advocate for her. Because if she won...
We're spreading the good word.
Fuck you.
We wouldn't be...
Listen, we're spreading the good
word. If she won...
Matt is basically saying that she's never going to win anyways.
I'm aware what Matt is saying. I'm aware what Matt is implying.
If she won, we wouldn't be able to talk about how great she is in the Soirean Cup.
Oh my God.
And advocate for her because she wouldn't be in the cup anymore.
You know what? Rafe is a good person. Maybe Rafe will have Serenade in the TV show, and then everyone will know about her. And we'll be able to say that we were there for Serenade before Serenade was even there for herself.
Exactly. Before Serenade was there.
Okay, sweetie. I believe that you believe, and I'm so happy for you.
Listen, it could happen. It could happen.
One can dream.
It might could happen. We don't know.
Absolutely.
Okay, who wants to talk about their side character? Please save me.
I can talk about mine.
Okay.
I would like to bring to the table. We've talked about. I tried to advocate for her as best I could during the Grinwell Cup. And she did, you know what? Considering, she did not terrible. I don't think she got eliminated right away. I don't think so anyway.
I don't remember.
Eganine. I can never pronounce her name correctly. Eganine?
Is that how you say it?
Eganine?
I say...
No, it's definitely not.
Eganine for me.
Eganine, right?
Eganine for me.
Eganine?
Yeah, I kind of insist something.
So you do the...
But I don't know whether that's true or not.
Listen, who knows?
We'll see if she ever gets casted.
We'll see. I hope. Oh my God.
I hope. Oh, imagine no Eganine.
You just produced a new fear for me.
I have one fear.
One fear. No Eganine. Yes, so she is... I just think she's a really fascinating character. I think she's a really for a side character, I think she is really well written too. Like, she has a very clear and like easily like clockable arc that happens.
Yeah.
And you know, like, she goes from someone who is like extraordinarily devoted to her culture, and completely bought into the whole Shan Chan terrible thing, to ending up being like, I mean, not besties with Nynaeve and Elaine, but kind of like not besties with Elaine and Nynaeve. Like, they end up, you know, getting closer. And she likes them a lot.
I feel like you should say what you wrote. You know, that first bullet point on your Eganine 101.
Which the first one?
Your fourth.
Oh, the fourth one. Oh, she falls platonically in love with both of them. Because of course she does.
Of course.
Because of course she does.
Who would not?
There's no other option.
Would not? Yeah. Yeah, she saves them. She saves them from being kidnapped yet again. And then she's like, wait a second. Oh no.
Oopsies.
These are oopsies.
Oopsies.
It's just it's a giant oopsie. Because she's like, oh, I like them.
And I oop.
And I oop. And they're and she's like, but wait, these are channelers. What do I do with this information? And it's a struggle for her. And she goes through like highs and lows and everything like that. But in the end, she works it out, and she ends up like, I mean, she ends up at the very end with Egwene, protecting Egwene. Like, what? It's so cool.
She ends up with Egwene. I was like, did I miss a relationship, like a romance between Egwene and Egwene?
That would be something.
Honestly.
That would be better than Gawain, honestly.
Eganine, better for Egwene than Gawain was.
Oh, absolutely. Eganine, like, she would be great for Egwene. I would love it.
New ship. You fic writers, get on it.
Get on it.
I'm sure.
There's gotta be, right? There's gotta be.
I don't know, honestly. I don't really read fanfic anymore, so like I don't know what fics are out there. But I'm saying that Eganine and Egwene.
There's no way someone's not thought of this before. It's gotta be. Cause like she's like, I feel like she's such like an alive character too. Like she's someone that you can kind of put yourself in her shoes. Obviously not like in the sense that you're in part of, well, maybe you're part of a culture that's like super into slavery and like all of that, which that may not be true, but we won't get into that right now. But like I think she's really relatable because it's not just like where she is presented with new information and immediately it's like, okay, I'm going to change my ways. That's not what happens at all. In fact, that's the opposite kind of what happens because she goes back to the Shanshan. She's promoted. She gets this like really big promotion. And then I think at that point, Bail Damon comes back into her life. And she ends up buying him, which ew, but she's like, I mean, considering the circumstances, best possible option? ? And yeah, they end up getting married. She gets to marry a pirate. And I feel like that is the greatest reward. One of the greatest rewards that you can receive. Yeah. Yeah, I just think she's really cool. I hope that she's in the show. I think she would be such a good. I feel like we need characters like her on the show especially to show that cultures are not a monolith. And there are always going to be people that are either they're already thinking these things or they're capable of thinking outside of what they've always been taught.
Exactly.
You know, like similar to and I mean this might segue into one of Matt's points.
Oh. I'm not letting go of that.
I know. One of Matt's people, but I think with even the Ashas, like I think it's important to have red sisters shown who are not like evil, you know, they're not dark friends.
Evil man-hating lesbians.
Evil man-hating lesbians. No, don't get me wrong. I love Leandrin very, very much. However, I think it just gives a lot of depth. I just like her a lot. Yes. She's just really cool.
Talking about Leandrin, did you see Kevin's tweet about her?
I did, and it's perfect. I did, and it's perfect. That's her in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's Leandrin right there. Yeah.
Everyone hates me because I'm gay. Well, I killed a few person, but it's because I'm gay that they hate me.
It's the gay thing.
It's a gay thing.
It's the gay thing. I mean, is that not like that's essentially Caitlyn Jenner, right? That's essentially Caitlyn Jenner. Am I allowed to say that?
Fuck her.
Talking about the gay thing, I am sorry to tell you that there's only 5 fanfic with Egwene in, and only one of them involve Egwene, and I think it's only platonic.
A travesty.
All right, then you fanfic writers get out there and start.
Get on that. We are sending up. Consider this. We are putting up the bat signal.
Enemies to lovers. Get it going.
Enemies to lovers. Bat signal. Egwene and Egwene. Come on.
Egwene, Egwene.
It's actually kind of sad because one of them is it's a one shot where Egwene's, if I say that, I'm going to cut that, but I'm just going to tell you.
Okay.
Ooh, that would be so interesting. Anyway.
But yeah.
I cut that because I kind of don't want to mention the...
That's fair. That's fair.
Accidental spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, are we no spoilers?
I thought we were.
I said a lot of spoilers.
Because I plan on going full spoilers.
We're going to have full spoiler, but I think a lot of spoilers we said are like kind of minor things about specific characters. Like you said a lot of things about Egwene, but I mean...
It's a big one. Yeah. I would argue it's like the big one.
It's the one you cannot say to people, yeah, you can listen to that if you don't care very much about spoiler. Like it's
exactly because people will care about that. They are going to care about that one. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
I feel like we generally we can always put like a spoiler thing before the.
Yeah, but there's a difference between putting like a light spoiler for some books or putting a heavy spoiler for all of the books until the last battle. It's
that reminds me of an Am I the Asshole post about someone who skipped a funeral of a close family member because a Marvel movie was coming out and she did not want to be spoiled for it. So she had to see it the weekend of the funeral. And she didn't want to be spoiled, but she also didn't want to get off of social media, so she skipped the funeral. I think of her it was a close family member.
Oh
it was a really close family member. She just skipped it because she didn't want spoilies for the Marvel movie.
I have a very important question, and I realize that this is not the point of it. But what movie was it? Did they say?
It was a Marvel movie, so I'm assuming it was one of the Avenger movies.
Okay.
Probably Endgame.
Maybe Endgame. Maybe it was Endgame.
Probably. Still not justified.
No, I'm not saying it was justified.
No, I know. Sorry.
But there's a difference. There's a difference between like missing like Thor 2, you're dipping out to see Thor 2, and you're dipping out to like not to go see Avengers Endgame. You know what I mean?
No, boss. Like, I'm sorry. No matter the quality of the Marvel movie, you don't skip a funeral.
I know. I am not disagreeing with you.
I know, Kat's not disagreeing.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying.
My perspective is I would go...
I refuse to give them any justification.
I would go to a stranger's funeral before I would go to a Marvel movie, and that's my take.
Okay.
Honestly, I would go to the funeral of like someone that I know a little, but that's it. But it's to support other people rather than go to a movie, because a movie, like, I can turn off social media for 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already planning on like getting lit when Clarence Thomas and Trump kick it. So like if a movie comes out that weekend, it's just gonna have to wait, because the celebrating is gonna be like it's gonna have to come first.
Yeah.
We've gone off topic thanks to Matt.
Well, listen, I tried to throw you a soft serve.
I know.
And you were like, no. Swatted it away. Swatted it away.
No.
Who's your side character that you like?
I will talk about my favorite Red sister first, because Kat mentioned the Reds. And of course, it is Pevara, unpronounceable last name. Honestly, though, Pevara is like Madonna. Like, we don't need to know a last name.
Absolutely.
She just is. She's just Pevara.
Yes.
It's Pevara, bitch.
It's Pevara, bitch. That's a good title.
That is a good
like
title.
that. It's Pevara, bitch.
We will have at least one Twitter of Time person who will be very happy with that title.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Yes. So I like her first because she's a badass, and of course I love the badass characters, but to talk about showing that cultures aren't a monomyth, like, so you're born into the Sanchan Empire, or you're born in Camelin, or you're born on the borderlands. So like each of us talking is like born into the culture that raised us. We can't help it. We can help how we internalize that. I'm not saying that what Iganine did isn't impressive, because it's really impressive given how oppressive the Sanchan Empire is. But what I find really intriguing about Pevara is that it's not just a culture that she's bucking against. She's bucking against a chosen culture. Like, it is a culture that you are not born into. You can control whether or not you're in it, and you have full control over whether to accept the tenets and the traditions of that culture. And she bucks it. I mean, she's, we joke about the man hating lesbian, but that was a little Robert Jordan could have lightened up a little bit with that.
Just a tad.
Just a tad. And like, her romance with Androl's whatever. Her romance with Brandon Sanderson is fine, but like, whatever. She's like...
You're not wrong.
It's not the most compelling part of her plots. She is a Black Aja hunter, which we didn't really get a lot of that with Red Sisters, because Jordan was mostly focused on, this Red is a secret Black, or this Red is Elida, and incompetent. But like, Pevara gives us like the hero that we needed from the Red Aja, and I wrote in my notes that it breaks, or it addresses the Slytherin problem, even though I think he wrote, I don't know how. So Pevara, I think, first appeared in The Crown of Swords.
That sounds right.
Which was contemporaneous with Harry Potter. And I'm not saying that Robert Jordan read Harry Potter. But like, this, other than like, the author being a Holocaust-denying transphobic piece of trash, the Slytherins in Harry Potter are always like, they're villains. Like, if you go to Hogwarts, you're either brave, you're smart, or you're evil, or no one remembers who you are because you're always stoned in the basement.
Who's that?
And like, the best Slytherin is Slughorn, and he's like the only Slytherin who participates in the last battle at Hogwarts, And even then, it's like
it's
self-serving.
Exactly. It's self-serving is the exact.
Yeah.
And I get like, and it's not to say that there's not anything wrong with writing characters who are self-serving.
Right.
That's not it. There's nothing wrong with that characteristics, but like, don't make that their whole like the whole identity of one house. Like, you know?
Right. And that's why I like what Jordan and later Sanderson did with Pevara is that
Can you just
the Red Aja could.
I just have to say about the season that it's even frustrating because it's about people having ambition.
Right.
And it's like ambition being villainized.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm like, it's okay to have ambition.
It's so shitty.
It doesn't mean that you're an awful person.
No, it's like it's what you're willing to do to get to where you want to go. Like some people can climb to the top without hurting a single person, or they want to climb to the top without hurting a single person, and some will just be ruthless.
Yeah.
And like it's about your choices and how that manifests in you. And it's the same with like Ravenclaws / the Brown Aja, like the quest for knowledge. Like, are you going to do research and like read as much as you can and honor the cultures in which you go to learn from, or are you going to trample over them and colonize them?
Yeah.
And take that knowledge from them and then put that knowledge in the British Museum.
Yes.
Like, it's about choices and it's about how you manifest that particular characteristic.
Yeah.
And Turf K. Rowling never really addressed that in the series. Like, oh, you're brave. Oh, you're smart. Oh, you're ambitious. Oh, you're other.
Yeah. It's so unbelievably basic.
It is.
Like you're other. It's so basic. And I know like
who the hell is a Hufflepuff?
What the hell is a
This is Harry. He's courageous. This is Cho Chang, who just happens to be Chinese, and that just happens to be her name. And she just happens to be really smart because Asians are, I mean, not that Asians are smart, but, you know, she just happens to be smart, and she's a Ravenclaw. And here's Draco.
For no reason whatsoever.
Exactly. And here's Draco Malfoy. He's, you know, he's emo and evil. And here's Cedric. He's a poofter. And a stoner.
Yeah.
What am I saying? Cedric wasn't a poofter. JK would never.
And apparently he's shiny under the light. Oh no, that's in another movie.
What? He's what?
Oh, he's sparkly. That's Twilight.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
I just want to say, I love, like, the Twilight movies are so bad, but I love how Robert Pattinson and Kirsten Stewart have just become little freaks. They've become freaks and have embraced their freakness, and I love that.
Their pivot to just, like anytime it's addressed to them, just being like, yeah, that was a silly thing we did, huh? That was a silly little thing we did. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially Kirsten, who was very much like sweet girl at first, and now she's like, fuck everything.
Yeah.
I love it.
So Jordan could have done that with the Red Aja. Like, oh, they all, like, their purpose is hunting down and stilling men who can channel. And by the way, most of them are also lesbians and most of them hate men. He could have done that, but he created Pevara, who essentially let him get around the Slytherin problem by being a complex character who participates in the hunt for the Black Aja. And I think she's along with Sareen and Yukiri and a few others. So, like,
she has a pillar friend there.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Is it Cianin?
Cianin.
One of the Aes Sedais.
Cianin is it's Cianin. That used to be her pillar friend. Yeah.
Okay, so she's like also like not so ambiguously queer. So like that's another thing. And not only that, she works with other Ajas, and it is implied that she is going to be the future of the Red Aja in their shifting purpose in this post-cleansing, post-Last Battle world. And like I find it so admirable. Like if you buck the trend of the culture you're raised in and you're born in, that's fantastic, and that's great. But like if you buck the culture of a chosen, or if you buck the trends and traditions of a chosen culture, that's even more awesome. Which I think is probably behind a lot of my second character's rationalization. But we'll talk about him later.
Regarding Pevara, I feel like she does for the Red Aja what Egwene tries to do for the Wall of the White Tower.
Yes.
In terms of like changing traditions and modernizing things.
Yeah.
I do have one. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say there's a reason why so many people in the fandom love her. Like she's a very well loved like side kind of character, but she's like she makes a big impact on the latter half of the series.
She does. And hey, even Brandon Sanderson decided to marry her. But the one last thing I have to say about Pevara is that when I was doing my research to like refresh my mind on her, because we all know that I have the brain of a possum and nothing sticks with me. I went on the Wheel of Time wiki, and someone named Hexen426 used and uploaded Mid-Journey filth crap to my Sweet Pevara's page.
Yeah.
I just want to say that that's not art. That is not my Pevara. My Pevara is better than any AI garbage that you could generate with your little tech bro keyboard nonsense.
Tech bro keyboard.
So if you're listening,
is not,
or if you know anybody who puts Mid-Journey, I know.
I know.
If you know anybody who's put Mid-Journey crap up on this, just you're trash, and you should be ashamed of yourself, and you're not an artist, and you never will be.
Don't do that.
You will never be an artist, and you will never do anything creative or create anything worth remembering in this life.
Oh my god.
Okay, so that's my Pevara.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about how if you use AI to make your quote-unquote art, you will never be an artist or create anything worth remembering. Thank you.
I'm going to have to tell you, Matt, I think you need to really workshop that title. It's very wordy.
And those art are so basic. I'm just looking at that.
Yeah.
It's like twice the same picture in like a bit different, and both of them look like the original, like the top picture who was actually drawn by someone. It's so lazy.
And her fingers are jacked up.
Of course they are.
Like there are two others. So like there's the Pevara, the Pevara that you see in the top of the page. Like she has a haunted look behind her eyes. She's looking at the person in sort of a haunted way, and it's pretty. And then the second one is with her and Brandon Sanderson, art by Adam Masterman, and it's a different art style. It's not quite my art style, but like
it's a pretty picture.
Really nice.
A person went behind this, like it's art.
Yeah,
it has personality.
Yeah, it has personality. Like they have personalities. The two Pevara and Brandon both have personalities in this picture.
Stop calling him Brandon, please.
No.
Insisting on calling him Brandon. Oh my god.
Okay, that's all I have. That's all I have for Pevara.
Camille?
Yeah, nothing to say. Fuck AI.
I mean, we meant to say, do you have another character?
Yes,
fuck AI as well.
I mean, yes, fuck AI, but also, do you have another character to bring?
I didn't know what to pick as other side character. I had to, so I have a spreadsheet with, I think it's the top 250 characters, like the most mentioned in the book. I did not compile that, at least it's available online, whatever. So I looked through it to find out what other characters I do like. So I'm not gonna go on big rants on those characters, but very quickly, I think I used to like Elias a lot when I was reading those books, because I don't know, maybe I relate to the lone wolf vibe. It made me laugh that he would disappear for many books and then suddenly show up, and I would be delighted to find him again. And then when you learn a little bit about him, he got the tragic backstory. He used to be a warder, apparently was married to his Aes Sedai, and then the Wolf Brother thing started, and the Red Aja tried to gentle him because they thought he was channeling. So he ran away, and apparently his bond never got broken with his Aes Sedai, and she's masking him. And I don't know, is that in order to find him again one day, or is that just to keep track and ensure he's still alive? I don't know. It's I like him. Other than that, like, is Verin a side character?
I don't think Verin is a side character.
Yeah, I don't know.
She starts as a side character, but she has so much presence in those books.
I think she's a secondary character.
Yeah.
I would classify her as a secondary character.
Yeah.
I think she does she does a little too much cooking.
Yeah, she does a lot.
Yeah, she does a lot.
I did want to give an honorable mention to Sorelia, who is a wise one. But that's only because I think she would be the perfect girlfriend to Katsuane. So
yeah, I agree.
Let the gilf be lesbians too.
Exactly.
Title? Let the gilf be lesbians.
Let the gilfs be lesbians too.
I like it's Pevara bitch.
I know Matt's like, no, it has to be it's Pevara bitch.
Oh yeah, Pevara bitch is a great one. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for my other side characters. It's
I love Elias. I am right there with you. He's a very good. I am hoping that we get to see more of a consistent presence from him throughout on the show.
The actor is so good. He is so
the
good.
Actor's so
yeah, it was really good in season 2.
When I saw he was cast, I was like, oh, he's gonna be so good in this role. Oh my god, yeah.
Weren't we also? This might be off topic. Was this the casting? We were like, oh my god, finally a dark skinned actor who doesn't play an evil person. Okay.
Yes.
I just had to make sure that was the one.
Yep. That was him, and we were like, it's happened.
A cookie, a bone has been thrown.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Maybe we should have an episode about that. I feel like season 2 did better on that topic.
We should do a follow-up episode, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Kat, do you want to go with your other side character?
Yes.
Who's a great one again.
Yes. I love her so much.
She's so good.
Mistress of the Kitchens, Loris. And we don't have a last name. She is, in my notes, I said that she is the basically an international woman of mystery.
Oh, yes.
Because that's her. That is her, basically.
Oh my god. What if Loris is the creator?
I believe it.
Avatar of the creator.
I believe it. If it could be.
Sure.
Listen. Yes, I believe it. I'm into this.
This is my new crack theory.
This is the new crack theory. I'm all about this.
A loony theory for Jordan Khan.
I'm all about this. Yeah, she is like, it's, once again, Robert Jordan creates really good characters. Like, I know that we've been through this, like this is a lot of what we talk about, but like the depth that he's able to give a character like Laras, who's really only like in and out of the stories in very specific circumstances, but the impact that she has on the story is huge. So she's the, for people who don't know, she's the mistress of kitchens. She runs it that is her lair, that is her place. Nobody messes with that. She is very strict when she needs to be, but she is also very much about not punishing people who do not deserve to be punished. And that is an ongoing theme for her throughout the series, where like, yeah, if someone's done something wrong, sure, send them to me, but I am not going to break their spirit. That's not what I do. That is not my vibe. It's not my thing. It's not about that. And it happens several times. How many times? So it's the first, actually, no, let me go back, because the first time that we see her is in New Spring. And she's watching Swan and Moraine being fruity on Maine. They're just being fruity in the kitchen, and she was like, in front of my salad, basically. Yeah, so that's the first time we meet her. And then Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine are sent to her for punishment. And she's like, yeah, okay, I'll punish them. But again, I'm not doing anything that is over bounds. Like I'm not breaking them. So we're not going to do that. And she shows like there's a sternness to her, but there's an obvious level of compassion. I think that comes with that too. She also takes Min under her wing when she is when Min is at the White Tower, which like Min sorely needed someone to like sort of be in her corner, because Min is so out of her depth when she's in the White Tower. And it's really cool that someone like it's someone like Laras is like, okay, I can see that this person, she needs someone. And then one of the two big things that she does is she's the one that helps Min free Swan and Liane when they're still deposed, which is like, I mean, can you imagine if she wasn't there? If she wasn't there to do this? the story wouldn't exist.
Maybe we'll have to figure out in season 3.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. But yeah, she's able to get them out. She's able to help Min. And then again, when Egwene is imprisoned in the White Tower, she tries to do essentially the same thing for Egwene, and Egwene is able to clock and say, wait a second, this woman knows her way around this like sort of back area. I think they're in like a cellar or something like that. She knows her way around here far too much for this to be the first time that she's doing this. And it's kind of, I mean, essentially implied that she's done this before for other people in the White Tower. It is my personal headcanon that some of the people that we meet in the kin, maybe not necessarily the named people, but the people that we meet in the kin, they could very well be people that she helped get out of the tower for whatever reason. We know next to nothing about her. We know that she is incredibly intelligent and she's like super savvy and she's like very strategic in her thinking and she's able to be really sneaky. But like we have no other context to her aside from that. And I kind of love it. I hope we never get anything. If she does show up, I don't think we didn't get her on the show, right?
No. I doubt we'll get her.
It doesn't mean that we won't. I know,
yeah,
but she's a very side. She's a comparatively minor side. But that's thank you for coming to my Laura's TED Talk. Mm-hmm. She is amazing. I hope, like, even if we get like a hint of her in the show, I hope we don't learn anything more about her, because I love that she's just this presence. She's this like comforting presence for the women and girls who pass through the White Tower, and she is someone that is strict, but someone who is super reliable, and I love that. Like she gives off like a very like protective butch energy that is very much it's something that I really appreciate. So yeah.
And she's the creator.
Yes.
Everything that you said is just like more evidence to that.
I agree. I agree.
So is it my turn for our last side character?
Yes.
Okay. This is not going to surprise anybody because he is one of my favorite characters, and I also think that he is much maligned in the fandom. And that is
Gawain.
Fuck Gawain. His old ratty ginger ass deserved what he got. So it's Galad Damodred, of course. I love him. He is infuriating, but also really, I don't want to say inspiring, but also like, I don't know, not inspiring, but like something that's less that. He's more complex than people think. On the Watt Wiki, there's a quote of him saying, "I do have a sense of humor, Gawain. He only think I do not because I do not care to mock people." Okay, well, he didn't really have much of a sense of humor throughout the rest of the series, but I like the sentiment, and that's a good summation of who he is as a character. I think, again, it goes with breaking stereotypes. Like, again, we have the not the book cloaks, the white cloaks. A less insidious group. And again, this is a culture that is chosen. It is not a culture that is he was born into. And he does have a very strong moral compass. But here's the thing. I saw some people saying that Galad would have been at the White House on January 6th. And I think that if you say, like, the people who said that, you fundamentally misunderstand who he is. He has such a strong moral compass in which he is convinced that he is right. But when he is presented with evidence that he actively does not like and does not want to see, he says, I have no choice but to change my mind because the facts just do not fit my worldview. Thus, my worldview has to change or else I'm just not connected with reality anymore. And you first see these cracks starting to break with the fight with Valda, in which he believes that Valda raped and killed his stepmother, Morghese. Also, no straight man is going to go to bat for stepmommy as though it was mommy. Like, she is his mom, and he is a mama's boy, and no one will commit a honorable, justifiable homicide and change the entire makeup of an organization and be straight. I'm just saying.
I will just say that I don't like saying that he's fighting just for his stepmom because it's his mom.
Right, that's true.
Like his mom has left since he was like a kid when his mom left.
Yeah.
Morgan has raised him since
She raised him. Yeah.
he was able to remember anything. It's his mom.
Yeah.
That's his mom.
We don't care that it's not his blood mom. It's his mom.
I guess for me, so like where I'm coming from with this is like,
Yeah, I get it.
in the U.S. South, like there's very much a culture of blood is the most important aspect of family, and if you're not blood family, it's not quite the same.
It's not real family.
I don't agree with that. I disagree with it, but that informed how I read Galad's situation. I also like how you read it too. Like, maybe in Randland, family is, just who took care of you. But like that's my perspective is like, when I was growing up, if, like I have family members I have family who has told other family that children are not their actual grandchildren or nieces or nephews because there is no blood relation.
Oh, yikes.
Like I have straight up had family members say, well, that's not your real grandson because you're not related by blood.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I put that emphasis on it. I mean, your mileage may vary. I guess it just depends on like various things.
Makes sense.
But either way, it's like it's like the fact that he goes to bat for her, big non-hetero vibes. I'm sorry, like what straight man would like fight for a woman like that?
Well, and also I am very much of the belief, like obviously, like the emotions were like super heightened, but I think he would do that for anyone.
I do too, and I
really do, like, because he has such a strong, like you said, he has such a strong moral compass that like I don't think he would be able to live with himself.
Yes.
And not do anything,
I mean, the whole thing about doing a trial for Perrin for 2 White Cloaks that died when he wasn't even White Cloak yet, and he wasn't in charge of the White Cloak, but that's the rules, and rules needs to be respected and this kind of thing.
They need to be followed, yeah.
And then he, Galad sees like he is, I think at first he thinks that Galad is being attacked by Perrin, but realizes that Perrin is fighting Trollocs, and like he is convinced that Perrin is just evil, and he's because it's what he's been told by everybody in his organization. But then he sees very clear evidence to the contrary, and he's like, "This is not what I expected, but I'm gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna change what I think based on the facts before me." And he ends up convinced that Perrin is in the Dark Friend, and that ultimately is a huge win for the Light because Perrin and Galad combine their forces in a way that you simply wouldn't be able to do if you didn't have, one, that's a strong moral compass, and two, the willingness to admit that you're wrong, which is something that it's a quality that so many people just do not talk about or value.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So when people say, "Oh yeah, Galad would have been at January 6th," no, the actor who's playing him would be. Galad himself would not be.
Yes, exactly.
Galad would leave the Republican Party after January 6th.
Right, and I don't even think I don't know why he has conservative vibes. Like,
I mean, he's royalty.
There's
kind of a vibe with that.
I can see. I see why.
I can see him being like a Republican, like by tradition and this kind of thing.
Right.
And then leaving the Republican Party when Trump arrives, and it just goes to hell.
See, I see him more of like there's some guy in a business suit, like super conservatively dressed, holding up an anti-Vietnam War sign. Like he's not a hippie, he's not yelling or chanting, he's just standing there.
He's just Galad.
And like that's what I imagine Galad would be like. Galad was like, well, this war is heinous and this is unjust, and I'm gonna go out and protest. I'm not gonna like grow my hair out and like start singing songs. I'm gonna stand out here in my white cloak suit with a sign saying you're wrong for this war, and that's it. So, like,
very matter of fact.
So yeah, I think he is misunderstood a lot in the fandom, And I think the qualities that people hate on him for are actually some of his best qualities. And okay, fine. Yes, I ship him and Matt Cawthon. We know this. This is not new. Before any of you come in the comments saying that you think glad because he's yes, I know. We all know.
Two things can be true. Two things can be true. Listen.
The only part about Galad I don't like is that he is foisted off onto Barrelane, who I don't like and I've never liked. Wow. And I know she's hot. We call her mommy, but I just don't like her. And I didn't buy their romance.
I think it was a little ham-fisted. Like, it was just a little bit...
It's just because they are two pretty person and Jordan is not good at romance anyway.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's not.
And Sanderson either.
And this is like Galad is a homo. And Jordan didn't know how to cope with that. So he just paired him off with like the closest pretty woman.
Yeah.
I have a complicated relationship about Barrelane.
Me too.
And I think a lot of the fandom does.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she had potential and just...
Yeah. I was literally just about to say, I think there is a lot of potential in her character. I think, unfortunately, the way that she's written does a disservice to her potential, unfortunately.
She doesn't deserve the way she was written.
No.
And I think Barrelane is one of the... Oh, sorry, you were saying something?
I was just saying it's too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like people defend Barrelane saying, oh, she's, she has this small kingdom and she doesn't know what else to do, so she just uses her body. And I'm thinking, okay, well, how many ways could someone use what little advantage they have in a way that's not sexist? Like, and we know that if Barrelane had been a man, or like, let's say Barrelane is like a teenage boy, so someone else who's vulnerable in this socio-political environment, but wouldn't be subject to the same, sexist. Ooh, I have boobs and I'm going to use them, and you're gonna protect my country because boobs.
The thing is that regarding Barrelane, she's slut shamed all the time. Do you know with how many people she has actually slept with?
Yeah,
it's like 2 or 3.
Yeah, probably 2 or 3.
It's nothing.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
Yeah,
and honestly, like, here at Queers of Time, like, if Barrelane had sex with like 20 men and 30 women, like, good for her. Good for her for having that. I just, like, I feel in a series with so many well-written lady characters, Barrelane felt like a step back. And it's like, and people do use their sexuality, and but I think, if Barrelane had been a man and did the exact same thing, I don't think that she would get as much, or he would get as much flack. I still would be annoyed.
Absolutely, he wouldn't. I mean, listen. I love Matt as a character. Matt Cawthon is right there.
Oh yeah,
Matt Cawthon is right there. He does some questionable things regarding consents.
He pretty much sexually harassed any tavern girl.
Yeah. It's like and people are more than willing to bypass that. More than willing to bypass that. Barrelane has not done anything. Like, she hasn't done anything to that level. And so it's always a struggle for me because, like, yes, I get she's not a super well written character and her potential isn't reached. But
it's a level of hate she gets into fandoms that get
sometimes it makes my eyebrows go all crazy because I'm like, okay, let's pause a minute here and look at some of the actions of, like, main characters throughout the series. Matt. And it's nowhere near the same level of of hate. And it's like, let's call a spade. It's misogyny.
Right.
It's misogyny. Yeah. Even if we may not recognize it's internalized misogyny. Like, it's,
And at the same time, like, the thing is that with a lot of misogyny topic, I also feel bad about, like, heavily criticizing, for example, the author for that, because when we talk, for example, about some of the behaviors that Matt has with respect to sexual harassment and things, there's a lot of stuff in our society with respect to sexual harassment that we've only been aware for less than 10 years. Like street harassment. Something that pretty much, like, a generation before us, everyone was like, no, it's perfectly fine, it's normal. It's a way to flatter women, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the conversation about this topic has changed so much in our society that when I'm looking at those old books that shows all of those bad tropes that we do not want to see anymore today,
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's true.
but it's a bit of a product of its time. It's complicated things to talk about.
It is.
I think it is fair to criticize Bear Lane and what she does, but if you do, I think you should also be criticizing Matt and the men who do these So, like, I just don't enjoy reading Bear Lane. I just don't.
Fair. Yeah.
And, like, it's when I read characters like Egwene and Nynaeve and Moraine, and even...
Say it. Say it.
Say it. Elida.
That was a struggle.
Even when I'm reading, like when I read characters like them that are just so dynamically well written, and then I see, woman using boobs. It's like, okay, so first of all, that's basically what she does because Jordan had his misogynist glasses on. Also, like, who would blame her in her situation?
And also, so what?
But also, it can be annoying to read. And also, so what? Like, it's annoying to read, but so what?
Yeah.
It's just so complicated.
It is. Yeah.
And I feel I easily buy, as a man, I have the final say on what's misogynist and not, obviously. When I hear like complaints of, oh, you're a misogynist for hating this character, I more readily buy that argument with Barrelane than I do with Fael, because there are many men in the series that behave like Fael, who I also hate.
That's fair.
Like, Fael does not...
I know.
I will put it this way. Barrelane...
Sorry, I'm laughing because I've literally thought the same thing. Like, when people are like, oh, but it's like, if it was a man, and I'm just like, I would hate that man too.
Uh-huh.
I would dislike that man as well.
And Fael, my main issue with Fael is that we only see her from Perrin's eyes, and Perrin is not fair with how he's treated Fael, because Perrin is always sniffing feelings and then assuming that people are behaving in a certain way because of the feeling. Like, the thing is that we feel like Fael is a fucking jealous person constantly and is giving Perrin a hard time for that. She never acts on it.
No.
Oh, see, I don't think she's jealous.
No.
I think she's just I think she's just an ass. I think she's just a heinous asshole. Which,
you know what? Sometimes people are assholes, and that's okay.
And that's okay. Well, not for her, but like,
well,
so like with Barrelane,
I feel like Fael is a lot more like, it's funny, but during the time she's away from Perrin and you see Fael's POV, she's a character that I like a lot more than when we see her with Perrin, because Perrin's POV about Fael sucks.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Barrelane being a woman is a large part of why people have an issue with what she does.
Yes.
Fael being a woman is no excuse for her jackass behavior. That's my view on it.
That's fair.
And I know some of y'all love Fael. Bless your hearts. I know you do. And I don't, and that's okay.
Fael would be the same issue, because the issue is not Fael. The issue is Perrin.
No, the issue is
I'm
Perrin.
sorry.
The issue lies with Perrin.
I don't like Perrin either. I don't like that motherfucker either. I don't like neither of them. I don't mess with either of them.
We, here on the Queers of Time podcast, we make sure that we spread the love. Or in this case, we spread the hate.
Yeah, I get like the Fael is filtered through Perrin's perspective.
Yeah. This still doesn't make Fael an enjoyable character for you, and that's it.
No.
Right. Because it's
just fine.
There's objective perceptions and there's subjective perceptions. Like, Camille asks me, how are you doing? And I say, fine. Well, Camille could read that as me saying, I'm fine. Or she could read me saying as, fine, leave me the fuck alone. And like, through Camille's perspective, like, Camille filters that. But if Camille asks me, how am I doing? And I say, who the fuck do you think you are talking to me like that? Like, you don't need Camille's subjective POV. You don't need Camille's subjective POV to determine that I'm a dick.
I will.
And that's my issue.
Unfortunately, needs a quote, but that's fine. I just think that as with many things with those books needs a lot of nuances to be able to talk about them.
100%.
And especially on Twitter, there's a lot of people jumping to conclusion and having seeing everything in black and white. I'm like, no, everything is fucking gray.
No,
it's 50 shades of gray in that book.
No.
And you know what? And you know what? Because we're just coming off of it, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say something very brave right now.
Ooh.
I don't think that the Grinwell Cup is the place where you need to be having these big fucking think pieces.
Right.
Just vote for who you want to vote for and move on.
Yeah.
We don't need to do all this.
Do you know who I voted for when she came up? Grendel. And I would do it again.
And I would do it again.
I think there's also, like, in the Grinwell Cup, I also saw a lot of people making, like, big, bold statement. And I don't think a lot of them were very serious about their statement. And I think a lot of the statements were taken very seriously.
They were taken seriously.
And then I was saying, like, you know, how do you call that when you're tweeting about someone, but you're not directly tweeting at them, you're tweeting about them? Yeah, I saw a lot of sub-tweeting about some stuff. And I'm like, I don't think that person is partially serious about what they're doing.
Yeah.
They could do that with a lot more nuances.
Yeah. It's like,
and this kind of thing. I feel like I voted, and sometimes I voted with a Queer of Time account and other accounts. Because
we all did. I think we all voted with a Queer of Time account.
When there was one, like there were a couple times where I would log in and see that someone already voted. I'd be like, either yay or shit.
Yeah, same. It's just a cup, and like it's not the place for discourse.
It's just fun.
The only thing I was doing, like once in a while, I would like quote tweet with something about how much I love the character or something like that. And I was like, I think I tried never to tweet about the person I was not voting for. Like, I feel like in that cup, it's kind of like, instead of being this or this, oh no, that person is very bad compared to that person that is very good, just say, oh yeah, I love that person because why, this, and then move on.
Campaign for who you want to campaign for. And you don't need to mention.
If you gotta have discourse, bring that shit onto your own TL and do not harass Allie and Gus.
Don't be weird. And just, I mean, this is just in general too. Like, if you have the discourse, have the discourse for sure.
Somewhere else,
have the conversation. But just like be aware that Twitter is not the ideal format, the ideal space for you to have a nuanced conversation.
If you want a nuanced conversation, start a podcast.
Yes. Start a... Oh, don't... Do we want all of these people? Maybe we shouldn't... Well.
Anyway, it's an hour and 10 minutes. I love this conversation, but we should move on.
Let's wrap it up.
Well, that's our favorites. Our problematic faves and our non-problematic faves. And our faves who are fully rounded human and cannot be called problematic or non-problematic because that's how real humans are. They're just our faves.
Thank you everyone for listening to this very messy episode of the Queers of Time. If you're still around, well, great. Thank you. We are on Twitter, Tumblr, Blue Sky, Discord. Join our Discord. Our Discord is nice.
It's fun.
We have a Patreon if you want to support us so we can be on top of the bills for the podcast. And that's pretty much it. Thank you and see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye, Felicius.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.